All right, so it says the stream is live, which clearly means it's got to be live, right? So you'll notice we're missing a couple of hosts. They are running late for reasons that I don't fully know, but I'll go ahead and say thank you for coming to another episode of Late to the Mic. I'm Patrick, and I'm here with my current co-host, Joe of JSA Reptiles. We wanted to go ahead and get started at 10, and hopefully Chaise and Troy figure out what's going on and learn how to use the internet and can get in here pretty soon. So I guess we'll start this off. Troy or Joe, how's your week going?
Not too bad. Pretty much getting to the end of it. It's a good part of the weekend, right? All the hard work's done.
Yeah. Any exciting snake stuff this week?
Finally hatching our first Confusion clown stuff.
Okay.
We had a shot at Confusion Pompeii's. Looks like we missed, but we got maybe Confusion Black Pastel Clown, and then Confusion Spot Nose. I think there may be Yellow Belly or something else in it, but they're still in the egg.
Nice. That's awesome. So where are we at in the season for you? Is this towards the end of the season, middle, beginning?
Yeah. Actually, pretty much all of our stuff moved more together and moved a little early. So I think I just had our last ovulation. I think we're 62 clutches hatched, and I think we'll be like 73, 74 clutches total for the season.
Nice, man. That's a good season. I think we're going to be at 91, and it's the biggest season for us.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And that's with two of us going at it. Yep. And I say we're at 91 right now. I guess I should say we might maybe hit 100 if we get really lucky. I think there's like a few more girls to lay, and then maybe not, but still 67, 60 clutch. That's a lot for, y'all guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. A couple years ago, we did right at 98 or something that. And that was too much.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a surprising amount of effort. I didn't fully appreciate how much effort it actually was. All right. I'm going to pull Troy in here real fast because he just showed up and he's making weird faces at me. So let's do this. Hello, Troy.
Hello. Hi, Joe. What's that, Joe?
Hi, Joe.
Who's that?
Really?
Lisa. Gross.
Lisa.
Actually, I think me and Chaise can probably both be on mine, and yeah, that'll work, right? Chaise can. I have to be where?
Well, can Chaise sit in your lap?
I have to go this way.
What is going on?
That's so weird.
I mean,
guys, what kind of half-ass show are we running here?
I don't know. But can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
It's better than the deafening silence we had from you 5 minutes ago, so it's good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Chaise and I were playing with toys.
What?
Like tanks and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing? So where is Chaise? You're at
He's coming. He's running around doing something, so... but I probably can't get on his computer because I'm hoping if he and I are on my phone, then we can see the chat.
I can see the chat. Everybody's being really friendly, and they're talking a lot of shit about how bad of a person you are, Troy, for not being there, and how great of a person Joe is for stepping in.
Thanks, Joe. But I can't get into Chaise. Should I start guessing Chase's passwords?
I really like how this is episode 1 of being live, and this is how it's starting. This makes me happy. This is good.
I was 1 minute late. I got on at 10:01.
You were 4 minutes late.
That's because you made me sit in the back for 4 minutes.
That's a punishment for being late.
You son of a gun, you.
I know.
All right. Well, I have to wait for Chaise to get here for me to see the comments. But hey, everybody. My week's been great.
You haven't had anything to do though, have you, Troy? Been just
what have you
go.
Yeah, what has your week been? Let's talk about that.
Let's see here. Let me think. So yesterday I was in Washington, D.C. Oh, by the way, I'm in Atlanta tonight. I'm at Chaise's house. I am setting up at the Atlanta Reptilian Nation show this weekend. And so Chaise and Abby are super awesome hosts. And so we're at Chaise's and we just got done with dinner. But yesterday I was in Washington, D.C. for Honor Flight. If you're not familiar with Honor Flight, we take veterans. We had 2 World War II veterans, 2 Korean War veterans, and then everybody else was Vietnam. We take them out for the day. We take them to all the memorials, and me and a buddy of mine, Josh, we make a video of the day, and that way they can share that experience with their family. We interview some guys. We had a pretty emotional interview from a Vietnam vet, and he was a medic. So that probably could tell you, what he had to deal with.
Yeah.
And so that was my yesterday. And the couple days prior to that were, me trying to just get ready for the show and whatnot. And my life is hectic.
I feel that.
Yeah, it sucks because when Joe's my brother from another mother, which by the way, his mom is also my mom. So we're kind of brothers in a way. I'm just kidding. I love his mother though. He's always like super calm and like, he's just got his week is always scheduled out and then I am just chaotic. I'm a chaotic mess.
Yeah, I know.
So we're kind of yin and yang. I talk a lot. He doesn't. I'm the good looking one. He isn't. I'm the taller one. He's the tougher one. It's lots of opposites, yin and yang.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I did cut some clutches this week.
Okay, let's hear about them.
Let's hear about that.
Yeah.
So
we're vamping till Chaise gets here.
Yeah, freaking Chaise.
What is
he doing?
I
cut some pretty. Yeah, he's put his makeup on. Yeah, he kind of might be. I cut let's see here. So Inchy Clown Pied to a Huffman Pied, which I know some of you are like, what's Huffman or whatever. I don't know who's all in the comments because I can't see anything at the moment. But Huffman is, very much like black pastel. I'm a Huffman guy. I really enjoy Huffman. And so that was just a pairing I made for some future projects.
Okay.
Let's see here. And then I cut Fire Mojave. Oh man, I gotta think about this. Fire Mojave Calico. I'm missing something. Fire Mojave Calico Pied. What am I missing? Anyways, whatever. Let's just go with Fire Mojave Calico Pied. And to a Yellow Belly Het Pied. I had 5 eggs. Got good odds. 4 pieds, and they were all really nice pieds. I'm pretty excited to get them shed out. Some pretty really neat stuff, man. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to share some of that.
Okay.
And then I cut my triple het to triple het. So pastel, het DG, het pied, het exanthic. I can't talk.
Okay. I like where this is starting.
Yep. And then I took that to a triple het. Same thing, right?
Okay.
And it's 5 or 6 eggs. 1 egg I can't see. I can see that it's a pied.
Okay, it's a solid start.
That's a good start. I can't see much on it though, so I don't know what's going on. The other one is an exanthic pied, but like I was talking to Patrick actually earlier. I think me and you can just be on here together. I think but can we pull up just YouTube on yours so that we can see the comments? Sure. Okay. Here, so I'll just do this. We'll just make this work. Yeah. So how's this? Is that good? Yeah. Okay. We'll make it work. We can bend in here. Hey. Yeah. So one was an exanthic pied, and I was telling you, man, it's kind of creamy, right? So I'm like, could it be a DG pied? I don't want to, or could it be the triple visual? I don't want to get my hopes up until it's out of the egg. I saw an exanthic DG. I think there's a DG pied. So yeah. Anyways, pretty excited about that stuff. So that's my week,
stuff, man. That's good stuff. I like it.
I tried to guess your password.
And it didn't work, did it?
No.
Turns out.
Yeah. So yeah, what's easiest here, man? If I tilt this your way a little bit, is that okay? Or you want me to go this way and you come my way?
This is adorable. This is good. This is why I wanted to show up 20 minutes early tonight to work through this right here. But I enjoy that we're doing it live, so it's good. This is good.
I also like to mess with things, and this was in front of me, so I'm gonna toy with this. So don't let me cut myself. I'm toying with Chaise's knife. I'm very fidgety, and so I was sitting here, and this was something I could fidget with. It's probably not a good fidget toy.
I'd like it to be known, Chaise is only half of Chaise's face is visible currently. Yeah, there we go. Hi, Chaise.
Hey.
How are you doing? How's your week been?
It has been good. It looks like my boss is having a much more fun week on his trip, but it is well deserved. But no, having a good time. Few clutches laid, nothing crazy. But then just really good, solid stuff coming out of the incubator right now. I'm just setting up to shed out together. So I had a killer feed today, though. Like, that was kind of the highlight of my week.
Yeah.
A lot of girls turning onto food that I needed to turn onto food, and it just felt really consistent across the whole adult female wall. And I was just thrilled to see it. I put in a lot of extra full cleans on those girls, of just kind of those key ones, you know, where you really need them to eat after that first pairing.
Yeah.
And I just decided to go ham in the paint with doing that, and it paid off big time. Nice, so I was really happy with that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, excited. I'm excited to see the comments. I'm excited that we're live.
Yeah, man,
that's all I really care about.
I can tell.
I feel like you talk, and I'll slide the comments over to this screen, and I'll just talk to people in the comments.
Troy's like, I don't actually want to be on the podcast anymore.
I don't care to talk to you people.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Only Joe, because I love my Joe.
Wow.
Who doesn't love Joe, though?
Yeah. So, Patrick, being that you are the leader of the podcast, you are the host, and me and Chaise are just co-hosts.
I think we're all co-hosts, but that's fine.
Am I interviewing Joe for the next 20 minutes and then you're kicking him out? Or is he going to be like Andrew and he's going to be on here for an hour and a half?
I just feel like we're really setting a tone if we let him stick around for an hour and a half. But at the same time, I have no opposition to letting him stick around as long as he wants to. Joe, how long do you want to be here?
Whatever works for you guys.
Oh, man.
Be careful with that. Be careful.
Yeah,
well, you're going to bed late. All right. Oh, look, we're live. I love this, dude. I'm so excited to see the chat. So, yeah, I think we have to mute this.
Clearly,
yeah.
I still love this. This is very professional. We are crushing it right now.
Oh, good stuff. Okay. All right. Wait, can you slide it over here? Does it not work that way?
We have said nothing useful.
Yes. Okay. All right. I love it. Look at all that. Look at all the action in there. Oh, and this is good stuff. We got 23 people watching. We started streaming. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this data. Can I interview Joe now?
Yeah, go for it, bud.
Please.
You've earned it.
Please.
You've earned it. You're so excited.
I don't know what to do. All right. Hi, Joe.
How we doing?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. So, I'm going to ask some questions, and Joe knows a little bit about my question asking because I've photographed some seniors in front of Joe, and so he knows that I like to ask him off the wall dumb shit, and but that's how we get to know people, and that's what this is about. Because this segment should be called, and there should be a little screen that pops up right now, and it's like, get to know the breeder. I don't know.
Wow.
As soon as you start showing up on time and consistently,
I literally have a knife in my hand and I'm trying to not to jab you in the throat. All right, Joe. First question for Joe. If you could have dinner with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
It's tough.
I know somebody who he could say. I think you should say Doc Holliday.
Troy, you're not supposed to answer for them.
Oh.
If I could pick just one, that's tough. I mean, it obviously would have to be a family member. I think it'd probably be my grandfather.
Oh yeah, that's always good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know your grandfather before he passed?
Only up to maybe 8, 9 years old, somewhere in there.
Yeah, my grandfather died at 99. It was in World War I and II. And I was like maybe 11. So right, you didn't know if I could have that minute with him now to ask those questions, that'd be a lot of fun. So that's a good answer. A grandfather's a good answer.
Weren't you just in a car for a really long time?
Yeah, he could have thought of a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. 14 hours on the way to our house today.
I was so busy last night, and then I didn't get any sleep, and then Lisa let me sleep quite a bit in the car today, and I just feel like a real piece of crap right now.
Good. I also don't.
I'm honest,
but it's okay. We're getting through this together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Joe. They're gonna start coming to me. Do you have a question for Joe?
I don't. Joe, am I going to see you next weekend, though, actually?
Yes.
Fantastic.
You know where you're not going to see him is this weekend because he's a good friend, just not a great friend, or he would have came to the show with me this weekend. All All right, Joe. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Probably Costa Rica.
All right, that's a
Explain.
good answer. Yep.
Mhm.
If you could go back and tell 16-year-old Joe one piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Learn business early. Yeah, learn all
I was
the
really kind of hoping you were going to say, don't breed snakes.
I was gonna say ignore Troy's phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good one. That's a good one for anyone that's live right now.
true,
Yeah.
true.
No, just the business side of everything, right? Obviously, breeding snakes probably bailed me out of construction after 22 years or whatever, but didn't really pay too close attention to all the business stuff in school. And, that's definitely the stuff I wish I would have paid more attention to.
If you could snap your fingers and do any other thing in the world, not breeding snakes and rats and construction, what would it be?
I don't know if there is that I'd have to do for a job.
Yeah.
I guess probably like a fishing guide or something like that.
Oh, I could see
Okay.
that.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah. Chaise would teach people survival, and you would like show up to this like camp, and he would just, this is all you get is the pocket knife, and then he would take you out and you'd have to like gut a bear with just a pocket knife, and it'd be a whole thing.
He got all that from just my box opening knife on my desk
Yes,
in my
Wow.
office.
I did.
That
I
seems
did.
about right.
He didn't read
Yes.
into anything at all.
Mhm.
Not at all. Yeah.
Are you starting your own YouTube channel, Chase? It'd be like bear.
No plans to start a new YouTube channel.
Chaise is doing everything he can to get off of this show.
It feels that way.
I
He
even
somehow-
offered him out tonight, Patrick. I told Chaise tonight that he could go to every other week, so that you have a week off, week on, and he said nope. If he's a full commitment. He's in it.
I'm here.
What are you doing over there?
What am I doing?
I don't know. All right, Joe, we're just gonna skip through. We're gonna get away from life questions. Other than this, you have to sleep with, marry one, kill one. Us three, go.
That's tough because I think we've done this one a few times.
Wait, have
Next
I been involved
weekend in
a
the
few
Airbnb.
times? Yeah, I was
If
about
he
to say it's gonna
doesn't
happen next
kill
week.
Patrick, I'm gonna be so mad.
I don't know if I know enough about Patrick, so that kind of puts it on.
Well, I can tell you that he's got his second round of chicken pox
Cheers to me.
or Ebola.
Oh, one of them. For
And
those who
so-
are watching, I do most likely have chickenpox for the second time, which is
Commitment. Just so you people watching understand how committed we are to this show. Homeboy's got chicken pox, and here he is.
kill
You
me
have to take
now.
him out back and like put him out of his misery, then, huh?
Dude, so fucking bad.
Yeah,
Kill me now.
I love it.
So if you fuck me and you get a child out of me, your child may have either a terrible or incredible immune system.
You can't say those things.
Wow.
You literally started it with fuck, marry, kill.
No, I didn't use that word.
What word?
You're such a child.
Okay, I'm done. I can't win.
So,
I'm
my
sorry.
dad wants to know if I'm in Atlanta yet. I
You
should probably
should
tell
probably
Lisa.
let your dad know you're there. So.
Yeah. Joe,
Anyway. Joe.
favorite morph. What's your all-time favorite?
Wait, are we skipping the sex, marry,
Yeah,
kill?
he doesn't have to answer. Stop it. Get out of here.
God. This is chaos tonight.
This is my interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking it over.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
Favorite morph?
Mhm.
Pinstripe.
No, it has to be a lemon blast, Troy. Come on.
Mm.
Probably clown. That
All right.
just works with everything.
Yeah. If you had to get rid of one morph, and what would you get rid of?
I think you said it. Pinstripe.
Oh man, Pinstripe. Poor Pinstripe.
Yep.
Me and Patrick are over here just breeding badass pinstripes, and Joe's kicking dirt at us.
It's true. They make some great wholesale animals. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah. What's your favorite show, Joe? What's your favorite show to go to?
Tinley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes Tinley special for you?
I guess
If he's just set up next to you guys.
Sheena and I actually went to the very first Tinley just as spectators. Basically, saw it in the back of a reptiles magazine. So the NARBC whatever advertisement in the back, and drove down and checked it out just when it was about the size of a local show. So that was really cool, eye opening to see all that. The bigger breeders and just the magnitude of the show, and then how many years later, just basically we'd all go every Tinley, spring and fall, and then just decided that we were going to start vending, and then just kind of vended on the outside perimeter, and then worked our way into the bigger booth, and we just always had a great time. All the people, friends, family, that kind of stuff. Just that's what makes it a great show.
Yeah, nice. If you had
real quick, let me get
go
some
for
comments real fast. Sorry, Luke.
I'm loving the
not,
comments right away. I'm trying to multitask.
Luke, and Josh, it is not
Keep
shingles.
going back
It
on your
is a
side.
second bout of chickenpox. Unfortunately, normally chickenpox, the virus itself invades the nerve, and then when it becomes shingles, it causes inflammation. I actually have chickenpox a second time.
Just stop.
No,
Nobody
I
cares
can't.
about your nerdy science background. Stop.
I'm just saying it's not shingles. Shingles would be way worse. It's actually just chickenpox twice.
It's
Definitely
Ebola gonorrhea.
I hate all of you.
Yeah, we love you. Joe, if you had to get rid of John and replace John with one of us as your brother, who would it be?
It's probably gonna hurt you, Troy, but probably Chaise.
Yay!
live YouTube. That's okay. I get it. Brian's here. That's nice because Brian's old and usually in bed by now. So that's awesome. Good move. Brian, thank you for being here. That warms my heart actually. So I don't even care about the rest of you, just Brian here. That's good stuff. All right. I want the comment section to give me you got to type a question, and I'm going to pick 2 questions for Joe out of the comments. So get to asking so I can read some comments.
There was a question earlier. If you want to ask,
hey, whose show is this?
I don't know anymore. I actually don't know.
It could be Joe's by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, based on how you're running it, Troy, I just don't know anymore.
I'm telling you, you guys I've had a rough day. I was in the car for 16 hours. I was on a plane way too long yesterday.
No one cares. No one cares.
I didn't eat anything yesterday hardly, and so I was not in a good mood. Nobody cares.
Tell.
Are you still looking for the question?
I mean,
yeah,
I was doing something.
Yeah. Well,
there we go. What aspect of the reptile business do you find the most challenging, Joe?
Ooh, that's a good one. Just the social media side of it, I guess, for me. Trying to weed out all the negative.
That's not a good question.
And just stay to the positive side of it, right?
Yeah.
Managing your collection, right? Like Troy and I have talked about this a million times, right? We come out to see Justin and Chaise and hang out and see all the fantastic stuff, crazy stuff they got going on, and you feel like you just go home and light your collection on fire.
Which we've actually done. Famous one.
JT tried that.
Yeah. So
oh man, he's gonna kick your ass. I can't wait.
I was gonna say I can't wait.
I'll wait to see him beat you up.
He's never gonna watch this.
How do I
It's
scroll?
fine.
If you could choose a different species of snake to work with, what would it be?
Probably Bolin's pythons, but obviously that's our top of the list. But I know I thought I saw a few people, or maybe one person that just had a viable clutch and got babies. That looked pretty cool. But
oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's awesome. Yeah, certainly would like to. Joe and I have talked about this before, and I was actually talking to Justin about it one day. Like, I would love to build like an enclosure where like they could go into like us mountainside.
Yeah.
That's cool. That part's cool.
Yeah, Justin and I
Right.
actually talked about that.
Yeah, yep.
early
So
on.
yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. So Joe Courtney C is asking, by the way, I wouldn't have to repeat these questions if the guy running the show would just put the questions up, which he has, the power to do, but he doesn't share the power with me and Chase. So anyways, Courtney C asked about, what was your first ball python?
Very first one was just a normal. I think I was 14 or 15 years old. Bought it from a local pet store.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm glad you didn't buy it from Chimera there. He looks so miserable. Who inspires you in the reptile industry? Troy from Best Ball.
I don't even know how to answer that one. That's tough. Might need some time to think on that one.
Well, not to just take the question from you, but I think what's kind of nice about our industry is like you don't really aspire to like one person. Everyone kind of just like aspires and jives on what each other makes.
Yeah.
Like Joe makes it, I'm like, holy crap, I want to do that. Like I aspire to have some, to hit those odds. So I think that's the cool thing about our industry versus others, where we're all kind of like working as a group for different cool goals. And then when someone hits something amazing, we all kind of like, oh, that's sick. I hope I hit that too.
Yeah. No, Joe's got super awesome odds. Angers me most days.
Do you think that's a little different from what it used to be? Because I think a lot of people used to aspire to be like BHB or Ralph Davis, like the actual person versus
I think
they were hitting.
I think that just the way projects are now have completely changed the way we look at it, because we're all working different projects from different angles, and then, working with the same but different gene-wise, at the same time, where, we all may have the same genes in our collection, but we're doing different things with them. So that's the cool thing, where we're all kind of branching out and be like, oh man, you know what, that's pretty sick. I'm glad, that's cool. He knocked that out.
Yeah, it's like you call Joe and it's like, hey man, what are you doing today? And he's like, oh, I cut a clutch, like a yellow belly het clown to a blah, blah, blah. And I hit 4 Pompeys.
Only two.
Yeah. Only two.
And that's a normal day at JSA.
That's a normal day at
everyone needs
JSA.
to know that. Like that's a JSA, just normal morning walking in.
Yeah. He calls those wholesale snakes.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, we would wholesale them for sure.
There's 2 questions I'm going to take from the comments to end with. Joe, the first one, because I'm going to love to hear your answer on this. From Kenneth, where do you see the future of puzzle projects?
I don't know if I can answer that one because I am not working with it. That was a tough
I think
one.
your take not being in it could be interesting.
I do like this. I like what I'm seeing with some of the directions that they're going, some of the stuff that's being made. For me, it was just one of those that we're working with too many different things, right? So I just don't have the collection size to put aside more recessive projects, right? To go that direction. It was just too many things going on and not enough space. But I mean, I think the puzzle projects are probably going to be huge, right? I mean, it's making really cool stuff with it.
Do you feel puzzle could take like the same path as clown?
I think it could, but I think everybody's always looking for the next clown, right? I think there's probably been different morphs that everybody said, well, I don't like clown because everybody's working with it. Well, there's a reason that everybody's working with it, because it makes really cool stuff, so then, well, I'm not going to get into clown. I'm going to get into this project. And then that project doesn't go as good as what they could have done in clown, right? I don't think puzzle's going to do that. I think puzzle will push on by itself just because it does different things.
Mm-hmm. And the last question from the comments I'm going to go with is from, I can't read that. I need glasses.
Morphic Exotics.
Thank you. And I think it says, Biggest secret you use in your business that no one talks about? Thanks for popping that up there, Patrick.
I'm doing my best for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Biggest secret. I guess the biggest secret, right, is probably just everything that goes on behind the scenes. You know, and it could take a day, it could take 5 years before it actually becomes public knowledge on certain things. And I think there's a lot of stuff that people get burnt on different things because the stuff doesn't get out there soon enough. You know, people find out stuff and they don't want to either be the first one to bring it out to public knowledge. But then you just kind of slowly builds as certain people find out more, and then the rumors spread, or, you know, just different things like that, where it just takes longer than it probably should to get out to the public.
Nice. Right on. Chase, you want to ask any questions from the comments?
What gene would you acquire now or in the future that you don't have currently?
That's a good one too. That's tough, right? Because like I said, we just talked about puzzle, and
Yeah.
I don't have the space for that. You know, some of the monsoon stuff I think is going to be really, really cool, but it's just, so then I feel like maybe I got to phase something out, or maybe add a big animal, a big project animal where it was, you know, monsoon clown, right? So then it would tie into a whole nother aspect of what I already have. I know there's, I forgot the name now. What's the new clown one? I can't remember.
The new clown?
Or not new, brand new, but I know Brittany's got.
Oh, the Cosmos clown.
Yeah, one of them. I mean, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. I think we've kind of gotten to that point, right? I think I've seen some comments online about some of the stuff that's being produced, and it's just crazy stuff, and the odds to hit it, right? And you kind of look at it like, oh wow, that's really cool, but we're not seeing that crazy stuff that we would have saw like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice. Yeah. This last question I'm going to ask all 4 of us.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Joe, you get to go first. What's been the most challenging thing to happen to you in this hobby business?
I guess going through being hacked through Morph Market. Not through Morph Market, but through our email, or however you want to say that, however the process went down. That was pretty tough. You feel like basically you're kind of helpless, you know, and being a full-time job, you can't have that. We had just fantastic, you know, friends and customers that really helped us through the whole thing, but that was pretty tough.
Yeah, I was around Joe and Sheena for that on the phone and whatnot, and certainly would agree that it was quite challenging for them, and it certainly was not a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
The fun part for me was talking to the scammer.
Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of people got a kick out of that. I think Bob Vu's got like pages of it, of conversation.
Yeah.
So Joe,
wasting his time.
I don't know if you know, I also they tried to steal my account probably a year ago as well.
Yeah.
And he actually called me trying to get me to send him money because he said that I had scammed him. It was amazing. And I've got a recording of him doing it. It's incredible. These guys are spectacular. You gotta love it, man.
Nice. Patrick, what about you? What was the most challenging thing for you?
I think it wasn't just one thing. So 2016, we had I let somebody into the building that brought mites in, and mites came in and then helped spread some shit, and we lost a lot of animals from our eyes within like a 2 or 3 week period that most likely were spread by the mites. And at the time I was a grad student making no money, and so we essentially lost almost 3 years worth of my salary in animals in about a 2 to 3 week period of time. And it was devastating, and almost the point where we got out completely. and it kind of came into I took the last little bit of money I had, and I, was like, if I can't make money with this guy and this doesn't work, then we're just done. And fortunately, it worked out. But it was definitely like that period in 2016, 17 where I thought we were just going to lose everything, and I thought it was just, every day I'd go into the building and a new animal was dead, and it's like I would take animals to the vet, and we'd get them tested for NIDO and RIs and everything else, and just trying to get everything taken care of. And it was just like I felt like I was euthanizing a new animal every day for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. So it was rough. It was really rough.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Like certainly I never dealt with anything like that. I would find if that happened to me, I would have Joe knows this about me. I would have a really tough time wanting to continue. That would be tough, man. So I'm happy that you're still doing it, man. Good for you. You're here. You're still here.
I'm here. I survived.
Yeah,
Hooray.
I want to ask you, because here's what I think I'm going to give this to you in a different way.
Troy wants to go last.
Yeah, I'll go last. Nobody cares what I have to say.
That's not true.
So for you, because you work for somebody.
Yeah.
So like, I want to hear what's challenging for you, but if you could also say something that you think has been challenging for Justin.
Ooh,
Could you do that?
that's tough. It's hard to speak for him, big time.
His friendship with me, it's fine.
I mean,
Just
because
ask Justin, he'll tell
there's
you.
definitely friendship with Patrick. I know that's exhausting on him constantly, but I think for him, it's kind of fascinating, just the challenges of continuing to grow, but also maintain like the small boutique. Like we are in the know. Like you can still ask Justin now. I can give him the genes of an animal and say, "Hey, where's this girl at?" And he will tell me what rack, what column, and what place in that column she's at. Like, not only has he just like constantly just grown to just keep growing, but stay small, and then also know thoroughly the ins and outs of every single animal. It's fascinating to me, because no matter how many times I'm in there right now and I'm breeding snakes, I'm going through and doing pairings or feeding, I'm still not as quick as that man when it comes to like just popping off with, no, this is it, that, and a lot of people don't see this side of him. But I mean, I was hanging out with Justin back when it was like a 12 by 10 building, and he had like a 6-speed Honda, and honestly we would go and fill that up with rats and rodent food and drive it 40 minutes back to his facility, then just to like feed and grind away, like those things that people don't see from like, that's where he was, and that's where he's at.
And I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, from my talks with Justin, I think a lot of people in our industry think that he's just like overnight for him.
Yeah,
right? That he just had this beautiful facility and like this great animals and blah blah blah. And nobody, and I'm not saying nobody, but like a lot of people, don't know the ins and outs of how hard he had worked as well too, right? And I think that's challenging for him to be like humble and like really neat about it, and not be like, listen, I can't, I had to work hard too. I mean, he doesn't get defensive about it.
No, and I love that he's always willing to transfer that knowledge. Like,
yeah,
like I'm blessed because that's, I met Justin originally because I was buying snakes from him for my facility in Indiana, and then he talked me out of working in the ER, moving to Georgia, and going full time working with him. And I'm super thankful for that opportunity, and I love what I get to do. I get to, manage an extremely cool collection of animals. And
what do you think is challenging for you in it? Like, what do you think for yourself?
Making sure that I'm staying on top of trying to be that level of like that Justin level of intensity that he can bring into the snake room at any time, where I mean, I can come in there at like 11:30 at night, and sometimes he's just there and staring at racks, and just like his mind is working, like it's always working. So it's definitely matching that dedication is always a like, I want to be all in, like I want to be on the level, and I love it. I love the challenge. Pressure is a privilege, and I love that I can kind of always feel that, and I get to do just more and more and take over more and more of like what I'm putting together and starting pairings.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's good.
There was we were at Tinley in 2019, I think, and we were talking to Justin about a blackhead dreamsicle we had hatched, and it was like really orange, and we made a comment, just kind of Andre and I passing, we were like, I wonder how much more orange we can really make these things. And Justin goes and he kind of stares at the ceiling for a second. He's like, I've spent a lot of time thinking about how orange we can make a dreamsicle. And he just kind of pondered there for a second. And all of a sudden I was like, I believe you. I believe you've spent hours staring at a rack just wondering, how do I make this fucker more orange? So
I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah.
it's great.
Nice.
All right, Troy.
Yeah.
It's
Your
your turn,
turn.
bud.
Oh, it's my turn. I think probably the most challenging thing for me would be, I think dialing in my collection to a point where I feel I'm in a good spot. I tend to throw a lot of rocks at myself, so I think it's probably somewhat two parts, right? I think a challenge for me is just not being negative. I think most people probably see me at shows and stuff. I think I'm hopefully come off as a pretty fun and positive guy, but these guys sitting here with us now, like they've all heard me, especially Joe. Me and Joe talk pretty daily, and so I think that's probably a big challenge for me is just being positive about things and feeling good about where my collection is, and not constantly wanting to revamp it, and or sell like a ton of it to like buy something. I mean, I need to find a way to be peaceful with what I have and work with what I have instead of always trying to get ahead of myself. So
Troy, there's this consulting service that's offered by this really cool consulting company that we could
The
help
man
you
has
with your
no shame.
collection.
I know. Good lordy. I wouldn't give you 10 cents to consult. I'm just kidding, man. I love you.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's okay.
Yeah. Guy can't even
Wow.
explain the DG thing to us correctly.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think that's one of the hardest things in the industry, though, is to manage the collection that you have.
Mm-hmm.
All see Instagram, you're up, you see on social media, you go to the shows, you see just this crazy stuff, right? Because everything that everybody else has is better, right? So you're just trying to strive to that next thing, and you see it. Well, I don't have that gene. I'm not working with that. So now I got to get that. And then you just kind of put your stuff aside because you're striving for that newest thing that you just saw. So trying to manage the collection you have for the full capability of it is a hard thing to do.
It's tough, and we've helped quite a few people at this point, and one of the biggest things is exactly that. No, there's no shame. I don't.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but
We
Joe,
love
you make
you,
a good
man.
point.
We love you.
It's keeping people focused, right?
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
start spreading
Yep.
out, and you look, they'll send a spreadsheet over with this collection, and you're like, 30% of these animals are probably not useful, and that's
Right.
and that's tough, and sometimes people have blinders on, right? And they just don't see that because they're in their little hole, and sometimes it's just when people do see that and it opens up, things open up a lot. So I think you're spot on with that, and it surprises me how many people struggle with that.
Absolutely, man. Like it is a huge struggle for anybody. I mean, I've got entirely too many pied animals, and I mean like just single gene pied girls that though I have maybe a decent male or males to take to them, I really don't need them taking up tub space, right? I could replace it. I could cut down my workload by getting rid of some of them, but it's tough, right? Because you have those blinders on, or you like, but I could do this, and I know that clutch could be this, and that's a challenging part of it too, is being able to I guess make that decision to cut kind of cut some things off your animal list and move forward. So yeah. Hey, can you highlight the second to last question?
I was going to in just seconds, since that, are you talking about this one?
Is it coming up? Yeah, because that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right?
I was say I was waiting for a second so we could segue to it, but yeah. This
Yeah,
was
I think
something we
I'm
were
glad
going
they
to
brought it
talk
up.
about. Yeah, we were going to talk about this anyway, so I think this is a delightful segue to the kind of the main thing that we were going to talk about. So yeah, when you guys started off, what's been your determining factor in pricing your animals as compared on the market / shows? So I don't know if we want to stay mildly organized here, we can just talk about how we attempt to price animals. If I don't know if Joe and everybody wants to actually give their secrets for how they do that, I don't mind talking about it, but
I'm an open book.
all right. Chaise is involved in all the pricing. So
I know what you're talking about. That's the nice thing with Justin. That's my fallback excuse of like, I let him price it. I just
it's
read
okay,
it now.
Chaise. He just texted me and asked me what it's worth. It's fine.
Yeah. For a lot of people now, though, they've kind of got that advantage where they can just go on Morph Market and see a super broad spectrum and be like, and find ballparks to work
should.
with. And I think that's
They
a
should.
disadvantage
What's
somewhat
that?
because I think there's such a,
Oh,
from like, from one, you can pull up an animal and one's $100 and one's 2,000, right? There's just such a gap.
yeah, but
And so, yeah.
No, go for it. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say, like, as much as Chaise is right that there's a ton of data to look at, I think there's also so much data and such a span between that data that it's hard for me to like, and again, Joe and I will talk about this. Like, I'm like, hey man, I'm on Morph Market. This blah, blah, blah clown is, 3,500 to 7,000, and then it's the $3,500 one hasn't sold. The $7,000 one hasn't sold. Like, so what's it really worth? Right. And Patrick, you and I talked about this even today a little bit. And so I find Morph Market's data incredible, but I also find it incredibly frustrating. So
let me ask you, and this will just be a generic to, I guess, everyone. When you go and you look at pricing, right? So let's use this clown example, right? And you said there's a range of 35 to 7,000, just as an example. Are you just looking at the price, or what else are you looking at with that?
Are you asking like as far as like how great their photos are and details and things like that?
No, like I feel like you've also got to look at the genes itself too in the animal, because a lot of people assume like the ability to stack genes makes it worth more.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could make a killer living blast all day long and just keep stacking into it, but no one.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes,
really
you have
price.
right. You're
And
gonna sell it
I
for
feel like
less
that
than.
skews, and that happens a
Yeah.
lot on like Morph Market,
Sure.
where they're like, well, there's this many genes in it, so it's got to be worth $30,000.
Yeah.
But it's super pastel, spider, pinstripe,
Right.
DG.
So
Like in real time, Patrick. Like I don't mind throwing this out there. So Justin puts a Pompeii out for what right now? 14 grand, 12, 14, something like that.
Around 14.
Yeah, around 14 grand. And there's people that I think have them for quite a bit less.
yeah.
And so, where does that, why is that span happening? And so like if I make a Pompeii and through my circle of people, so, if it's my Cali guys and Joe and you guys and people I've become friends with on Instagram, and they're like, and I'm asking them, hey, what are you willing to legitimately give me out of your pocket right now? And they're like, oh, I'd only give you 7,500. Right. And so I always say it's only worth what somebody is willing to give you. Right. And I get there's other aspects, like, is it a female? Could I just hold it back instead and keep it and, make more money out of a clutch with it someday? And, I get that there's a lot of different factors, but my problem is if you're somewhat new and you hit, let's just say it, they hit a Pompeii and these things start to come out at shows, Morph Market, and there's ones on there for 7 or 8, 9 grand. And then you see Justin's for, 12, 13, 14. What do you do? Like, what does that new person do? And that's, to me, that's where a problem lies.
Yeah. So I can, my answer would be, it depends on what that person wants to do. Are they willing to hold on to the animal and try and get as much value as possible out of it? If the answer is yes, list it, match it with the highest one on Morph Market. If you're willing to like risk that. If you want to sell it, I'd price it within 10 or 20% above the lowest priced one, and that's kind of the metric. Also, that depends on how long all of those animals have been listed. I think that's something that I've noticed a lot of people ignore when they're looking at pricing. Go and look at when the animal was first listed and what that date is today. Because
I typically look like first listed and like updated, like how long it's been on.
Yeah.
And if I can add, Patrick, like again, everything's situational too, right? Like I'm going to use Justin. I don't probably have the right to say this, but Justin obviously has done very well for himself.
I've heard that rumor.
Justin doesn't necessarily have to sell an animal today to maybe provide. I mean, he's done very well for himself. I think he's got money, invested in other things and so on. But if you take a guy like me or Joe or whatever that, maybe we're doing this full time and maybe it's the only thing that's bringing us in, dollars or something, to me, then it's situational. Like I have to price it aggressively because I need that money, right, to live. And so again, I think situational becomes part of it too.
I think it's also when you're talking and just this is not necessarily just directly at you, but most people don't actually advertise. Let's just be real. Most people just post an animal in Morph Market and it's passive sales. Justin, for example, has a large audience. Miguel has a large audience, right? So they can list an animal for significantly higher. They're going to have more people seeing those animals. And so the likelihood of having an individual being willing to pay that number, which may be the true market number, is much higher. Whereas if you're not advertising, you're not directing people to your listings, you're going to have a much smaller amount of people looking at them and a lot less likelihood of having somebody willing to pay that top dollar. So then you're now competing with just the people that are scrolling Morph Market and a lot of times looking for deals. And so that's where that competition aspect comes in. And so that's kind of, I think, also that aspect that people don't really look at. You know, we spend almost $1,500 a month just on social media advertising to send people just to our Morph Market store, just to try and get buyers in the door, just to look at our stuff. And we've seen, you know, a big jump in sales and things like that and pricing from doing stuff like that. So I think that's also an aspect that people ignore. So it's not one set answer, I don't believe. I think there's a lot of aspects to it that people don't always appreciate. So yeah, when we kind of determine pricing, we go and we look at the market. We look at what all's listed. We look at how long things have been listed for, and then we try and price, you know, accordingly. You know, if we go in and we look and there's, you know, and we also look at what's been sold too, right? So that's the nice thing as well. Morph Market, you can go back and look at what's sold, how recently it sold. There's a lot of data there. You just have to, I think, do more than just look at the price. You need to look at how long it's been listed for. I think sometimes it does help to look at, you know, how shitty the pictures are and things like that. But I do think that's a little bit less of a factor. I think the time listed and the price are the two biggest factors we've noticed on actually getting an indicator.
Put the last comment up there. That I think it's for which one? Is it from
healthy difference between knowing the value or finding the value versus crashing the market? I don't believe any one single person can crash the market unless they're doing high volume. I know people really like to throw that term crashing the market around. I only know of one breeder on the planet that could truly crash any market. And he literally could do it tomorrow. To that point though, right? That's the difference of finding that low animal on Morph Market, right? So then somebody says, well, I bought such an animal for $500. Well, last year it was 1,000, now it's 500. So now you'll have numerous people get on Morph Market and they'll list it for 450. They'll list it for 400 because they want it to sell. They're not as well known, or they're looking to move that animal. So they're going to take a price and then they're going to drop it, right? And then that's when the fall. I don't look at that as crashing the market. I think that's the market. That's how it's always been since I started. We've always had that, a year-over-year drop. You know, Codoms dropped 50 to 65% year-over-year. Recessives dropped 25 to 35% year-over-year. And then levels out.
Patrick, you and I talked about this. Like, don't you think people
24-hour period?
Well, I mean,
it could go quickly. Yeah.
I don't know if I can't think of many situations where I've seen like that big of a 50% drops in 24 hours, right? I mean,
but it seems like that in some ways, Patrick. So I'll go back to like the Pompeii, right? So like you go. Joe says, "Hey, I'm not saying this is what Joe's doing, but I'm just using Joe as an example. I call Joe and he says, "Oh, I hit 2 Pompeiis. Oh, what do you think you're gonna sell them for?" Well, market's light, blah blah. This is my full-time job, whatever, right? And Joe says, "I'm gonna list them at 10 grand, 9 grand, right?" And again, Justin has it at 14 or something. Don't you think like in that, to Joe's point, that's kind of what it is? Because that night before, if Joe didn't have those Pompeiis, and I called Joe, "Hey man, what do you think a Pompeii's worth?" Well, Justin has it at 14, or Ozzy has one at 14, or blah, blah, blah. So that night you think it is, right? The next day, now you have them in your hand and you're like, well, I need to sell these things, right? So like in some ways it does feel like it happens in 24 hours.
So I guess when I think of like, we're going to call it a market crashing, I don't think Pompeii in itself is a market. Pompeii is a part of the red stripe clown market, right? Or the black pastel red stripe clown market. So I think that's the difference in my mind. You have so few Pompeiis on the market that it's tough in general to find what a true market value of that animal is, right? Like, is it 14,000?
Take DG clowns, just straight male DG clowns. That overnight was half off.
Yep.
How do I say this without getting in trouble? It definitely wasn't overnight.
But it feels overnight because it's, again, man, like it's like one day if
But-
somebody
but what
called me and
happened-
I said they
but-
were 10 grand and now you can go to Daytona and pick one up for 3,500. It
But
happened
what
overnight.
happened? Right, but what happened? What shifted there?
Reality.
The market grew infinitely, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like everything, right? The entire spectrum of everything it has involved, whether it's supply and demand, whether it's,
I guess when
your situation.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is there's been maybe 20 Pompeys ever produced. I don't know what the actual number is.
Oh,
Maybe 20.
maybe.
Maybe.
Mhm.
That's my point. Maybe.
10 of them are mis-ID'd.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also not wrong.
There's been 5,000 DG clowns produced, so we have an idea
Correct.
of
So
what
I
the
get,
market
yeah,
looks
supply
like.
and demand. Obviously, supply and demand has a
I
huge
think
part in it.
but that's why everybody saw DG clowns jump up right in 2019. Because to be fair, you could get them for $5,000-$7,000 before COVID, and then Justin puts out the video that DG is the most underrated gene. Everything doubled and tripled in price. DG clowns, DG pieds all went up. You couldn't keep them in stock at $10,000.
Mhm.
Everybody started breeding for them. Last season, everybody who started breeding for them in 2019 started producing them with this massive influx of, unfortunately, just in general, straight DG clowns and pastel DG clowns. We have a shit ton of them on the market now. And so now there's a surplus. And yeah, people are trying to get rid of them because they have so many of them. If you added good genes in them, right? Like red stripe, yellow belly DG clowns still pull a premium. They're still good animals. But those straight DG clowns, that DG clown market itself, I don't look at it as it didn't crash, right? Because even if you paid $10,000 for your DG clown male and you're still selling them for $3,000 or $4,000 a piece, that's fucking fantastic money. I mean,
No, absolutely, man. And people have to let go of some of that value too, right? Like,
yeah.
You're not going to get 10 grand, so you just have to let it go. And that's a part of the problem too, is people hold on to it and then it starts, the drama in our industry where, well, you crash in the market or
Yeah.
you're killing that project and blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's somebody's holding on to an unrealistic value of an animal anymore. Things change, right? Milk, whatever, I don't care, whatever it is.
Right.
Everything changes. And so, I think a big problem in our industry is people holding on to values that are just unrealistic.
But
I mean,
they're values to that person though, right? So that's the whole thing, right?
That's the problem.
Producing my first Pompeii, the male or whatever, that animal was worth way more to me to keep.
Yes.
The special Pompeii that was worth way more, and I had
Yeah.
decent chunks of change offered, but there's no way I could sell it for that, right?
Right.
But now, and that was a year ago. So now, if I hit it this year, that price is probably cut in half, right? But that animal is still worth more to me because I don't have something like that to breed into my projects where other people that are selling them for less money already have breeder females on the shelf.
Yeah.
Right. So now that animal is not as worth as much to them, and they can move it for a lesser price.
Right. I think sometimes too, people, kind of to your point, Joe, just because you valued it that, right, there's a certain number it's worth to you. That doesn't mean that's what it's worth on the open market, right? And I think sometimes people have their emotional value for an animal, which is perfectly fine. We all do. But that emotional value is not necessarily the market value. And so when people are like, oh, this animal's worth $15,000, the market may not agree with you. And that doesn't mean that, the person that lists that animal for $10,000 is crashing the market or fucking you over. Like, that may be what it's truly worth, and you're just not separating yourself from that emotional state. And that happens, and that's okay.
Don't you think in that situation too, like if I emotionally held on to an animal at 15 grand, and people came up to me and offered me 7 grand or 8 grand, and I kept turning it down because it's $15,000 in my mind. Don't you think after that year's time, or let's say the show season, now it's only worth like 5 grand, or 4 grand. So like they could have got a realistic number, 8 grand for their $15,000 animal, and now they're only going to get 4 grand because they waited out because of pride. And I get it.
It happens.
It happens. It happened to probably every one of us.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. But I think, if I guess to me, it's not necessarily, to me, it's a device thing, right? Like I'm willing to me, it comes down to you, right? Like, so if you offer me the money and I say no, and at the end of the year, I'm stuck with that animal, that's on me, right? I can't be mad at the industry because my animal didn't sell because I held on to an unrealistic thing. And I think therein lies the problem. People blame the whole industry for them not being able to sell an animal because they had an unrealistic value.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I'm going to jump to this question real fast just because it ties into what we're talking about right now. I'm not ignoring you, Leviathan. We'll get to you in a hot second, I promise. Networking is key in the industry, so would you then say it's okay to undercut who could potentially be your friends? So when you say undercut, are you talking about
Like right now, anything Chimera has that we have, I'll do 50% off,
And I'll do another 25.
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Free shipping.
So that kind of goes back to I don't like if the industry is being responsible and you go on Morph Market and you notice like one animal is an outlier and is marked, price super, super stupid cheap and it sells for that doesn't mean that the market now has to shift to that super low price. And a lot of times it doesn't. Like things happen and people list animals because they don't know the market or whatever reason. I think it's okay to like just ignore that and just be like, that's a blip. It is what it is. Somebody got a great deal and move on with it. As far as I guess undercutting your friends and family, I mean,
I think that
your
comes
friends
down to
don't know
that comes down to your character, man, in my mind. If Joe has a Pompeii and I have a Pompeii and that person lets me know, hey, Joe told me $8,000, what will you do? I'm probably going to tell him like, hey man, I would much rather you finish the deal with Joe.
Oh,
I think that's what I mean too. That's the nice thing about like it also depends on like who you're spending your time with in the industry.
Now, if they call me and it's the same thing and it's somebody I've never met, I have no relationship with, they're just in the business, that's different to me, right? I may undercut that person at that time. If they're like Joe Blow has an animal for $8,000, I've never met that person, I've never dealt with them, they're not my circle, whatever. I might be like, yeah, hey man, I'll do for 75 if you want to do it right now or whatever, right? Like that's business. But between friends, I think I would try to do my best and I would probably call Joe and be like, hey man, Chaise called me. He wanted to know if I would do better. I think you should call him and try to work it out with him.
So I know I've aggravated Andre a couple of times. I go a little bit further, Troy, and even if I don't know the person, I won't undercut in those situations. I know it bugs Andre sometimes. Generally my line is just like finish working out whatever you're going to do with them. If you choose not to buy from them, come back. This is the price we can do, but like finish the deal with them first. Cause I would want the same thing with us. Right. Like, and we've definitely had situations where, the person came to me and they're like, hey, I'm looking at this animal you have available. I've already, working on a deal for a similar animal with somebody else. What could you do if I bought it? And you're like, I could do it for this price. And turns out it's significantly cheaper than what they were wanting, from the other person. And you're just like, just finish the deal with them. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't want to say it's integrity. That's probably too strong of a word, but I
get it, man. I want to sleep at night, man. I don't want to feel like a used car salesman. Again, I think there's a line, but like, I might take an opportunity to make a sale, in that situation. Again, situational. But if it's one of you guys, it's somebody in my network, it's somebody that's my friend, somebody that I care about, I'm not going to purposely undercut their price and then be like, haha, F you. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to push them back that way. And if they say, hey, you know what, I just don't really want to deal with Joe, to be honest. I don't want to buy his animal. I'm just, but I would like to buy it from you. You know what, that would be a conversation I would have to have with Joe then, and I would have to be honest, right? Oh, Chaise called me, told me he doesn't really want to buy it from you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would never go behind their back.
No, and honestly, I mean, even a little bit further than that, sometimes like I have customers call looking for something specific, and if I don't have it, I'm very happy to send it places. I know I've sold snakes for Justin, and I know Justin has sold snakes for me before. I've had
we have definitely sent people to
because you guys do that because you feel bad for us.
No.
Whatever.
You guys are over there like,
you know what? I will take all of the sympathy sales, Chaise. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm not prideful.
They're over there swimming in their money, and then they're like, hey, anybody with a shitty $300 pie? Oh yeah, call Troy over at Best Dressed Balls.
I'm just sending out a QR code for Chimera in every box I ship each week.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're to kind of piggyback on this question and stuff though. At shows, man, it worries me because I'll watch a guy go from Joe's table to my table to whatever, And
For
at
sure.
that point, I don't have the time to be like, hey, Joe, what did you tell him for this, similar animal or something, relatively same priced? It's just on the fly, right? And so
Yeah.
like, there's times where I feel like I took a sale from somebody that's my friend, or, I've vended, me and Josh and the Cali guys, Jacob and Andrew and
Yeah.
those guys, I think a few of them in the comments, we've been together in a big table area. And sometimes, man, they'll go from my table to Josh's to Andrew's and back. And it's fast
So,
paced. So
so
that part's a little different.
yeah, I was going to say, I think it's very different though, right? Because I think actually in that moment, you're not intentionally undercutting anyone. You're giving your honest low price. It's actually a true, silent auction, right? Essentially,
Kind
if
of,
he's jumping
yeah.
between three tables, you're all giving one answer, and
Mhm.
that's okay. And I don't think like if you go to Joe and you're like, Joe, like he bought it from you. That's awesome. What did you tell him you were going to sell it for? And Joe's like, oh, I offered him this price. And you're like, oh, fuck, I would have done that, but I offered him this. Well, then you should have done that, right?
When
I
that
think
happens, though, Joe takes me to expensive dinners to make me feel good.
that's good.
Yeah. Troy does dwell on it though. Like I'm pretty sure we have been at dinners after shows, and you're like, I think I shouldn't have done that. And like,
Yeah,
it sits on him. It definitely sits on him.
yeah. Things weigh heavy on me from time to time.
It
Not just my
happens.
belly.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question from Leviathan. How do you think someone can build a brand where they're not put in the position where they feel they have to undercut the current market to sell their animal? Advertising. I mean,
I was just gonna say,
advertising. This is
pushing yourself out there, putting yourself
Yes.
out there. Always, being top notch on your customer service. Answering everything you can, whether it's $100 snake or $100,000 snake, like, doing YouTubes, doing Instagram lives, doing Instagram posts, like all of that. And it sucks, right? Like in some ways, man, trying to keep up with social media is a battle on its own.
So
But I think you can build a brand through that.
But everything you just said is like the time aspect. If you have the money or willing to put the money in, you can shortcut a lot of that stuff by literally just running like Instagram and Facebook ads that send them straight to the morph market.
Sure.
And that saves a lot of effort as well. So like there's a couple of ways. Troy's is definitely the more traditional in the way we started, and you build up that following, and then you move to something else where you start, you can start paying for it. And when you pay for it, we get right now, I think our current ad that's running, we're paying 23 cents per person that clicks on our morph market store. So
the other thing you can do is join collections with somebody else because your collection sucks and you need their name to better off, and then change it to even a dumber name.
Yeah, I've heard that's the best way to go about it. Actually, yeah, it works really well. I'm a big fan of that aspect. Merging is great. So yeah, I think that's the best way. You don't have. This goes back to what we were originally talking about. If you're not putting any effort into the advertising side of it, your only advertisement is your price. And so then, yeah, you're competing on the low end, and you're going to start, getting price cutting. And that is, I mean, to be fair, it is kind of a problem in our industry. People don't want to put the effort in, or just, I guess I shouldn't say don't want to. They don't think about it. Maybe I don't know if it's willful ignorance. I don't know what it is, or just make that choice not to. But it's an aspect that is sorely lacking in our industry in general.
Yeah, Joe, if Joe wants to touch on this or not, man. I mean, Joe and Sheena are not. They're not social media driven people. I'm not saying anything about Joe that's not true here. And Joe doesn't, and Joe, again, you can talk for yourself, but they're just good people. Like, and at shows, they're upfront and honest. And, I think they've built it in a very traditional way, right? Versus like, maybe myself and even you guys, Patrick, going the route of, social media and building a network and things like that. So.
Yeah, we put it in, I feel, I guess, more of the old school way, I guess. Just putting the work in, going to shows, meeting people, just spending the time on it. So yeah, the social media side of it, I don't know. It's different. I need to do more. That's the other side of it, right? Like what can you do? I guess you could find a friend like Troy that'll basically force you into social media, put you into this kind of stuff, which is great. I need it. It's definitely a good thing to get out there and get in front of more people. But at the end of the day, if you don't love what you're doing, right, or producing great animals, they're not going to sell, right? And that's the stuff that has a hard time selling, right? If you produce the animals, they're going to sell themselves. And if they're a quality animal and they're in front of people, and I mean, we've done it now for years, right? If if the animals are quality, they're gonna sell.
So I guess my question would be like, I appreciate the sentiment, but like, it doesn't matter how high a quality like Orange Dream Pied you have. There's a certain price that just won't sell at anymore, right?
Oh, right, but
Yeah.
that
But I think it goes to like healthy animals and they look good on your table. They look good in your picture. Like,
Right.
I think it's more than just, oh, it's another OD pied, right? Like, I think there's a few factors in that.
Right. Oh, no, there's absolutely more to it. And I think people miss that a lot, right? There's a lot to it. It's not just, the one thing. So, but I agree. Like, you can produce some really great stuff. And if you're producing great stuff and people know about it, it's going to sell. I mean, it does happen.
Just doesn't happen for Patrick.
Ever. I wish we would sell a high-end animal. What's that like, guys? It's been so long.
I don't know. What do you count high end? Because we had that conversation last week too, and we're all different.
Do I still have the numbers? Hold on. I went and I looked everything up.
Wait, time out.
I'm sorry. The chat has kept me so distracted. The guys are cracking me up right now in the chat.
Don't give Jacob
Please.
any.
Oh, this is
I do
good
like
stuff.
the Troy merge with Dairy Queen and McDonald's. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's quality.
It's
Mhm.
5 guys.
That
Yeah,
is-
see, they don't know me well, Joe. They know that they think I don't go to that low end McDonald's, man. I'm a Five Guys guy.
It'd have
Yeah,
to be-
because you want fries, you want an entire
I
bag.
want a whole
of
bag of fucking fries.
it'd have to be 5 Guys and Canes, right?
Man,
Yeah. If you could
People
merge
are-
those. Yeah,
people
dude, they
are
just
being
beat me up.
savage.
They
This
beat
is
me
good.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, this turned into just like a roast of Troy, and it's
It
kind of
probably will. It
fantastic.
probably will every week. This
Y'all,
part will never change.
This was fantastic. I love this. We know you want Five Guys. God, Five Guys is
Good
good.
time. I love
Five
it.
Guys is good.
I can get Five Guys in my mouth all the time.
Oh, I bet.
It's good stuff.
All right. I promised a video of Fat Patrick pulling
Yes, I was gonna say I want to see this. I want to see the you hit your first clutch video.
Yeah, let's
Here
Let's
we
see
are.
if I
Minutes.
can-
Sorry. He just checked his phone.
No, I'm getting a bunch of notifications.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
All right, can everybody see?
Why can't I shut this knife? I tried the little. Oh, that's weird. That's okay. You took my knife away from me.
All right, can y'all see this stupid thing?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Oh, here we are. Yeah, I'm watching it on the screen over here.
I've seen this video, but I
Alright,
want you to
guys.
get a little bit.
Dorothy made babies. Now we have to recover her
Wow.
eggs. I'm very
This is-
disappointed
this
in
is
life
rough.
right now. Dorothy, can we please be friends? Hello. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Here, Dorothy.
Look at that normal.
I know. I know you're very unhappy. Come here, please.
Oh my God! Look how fat you were.
There's a bunch of eggs, though.
Look at his back fat. Look at that.
That's
That's
rough.
good.
Oh, here you go.
That's rough, guys. That cooler on top of that rack was my incubator as well.
Yeah.
It still is, everybody. Just to know, that's how they're still doing it. They have 100 of
I
them.
didn't
It is
get
quality
bit. That's
in,
a
quality
win.
out of kind.
Oh, dang it, why are we here? And bunch of
Is that your
eggs.
wife in the background?
That's, 3,
That was my
6,
wife.
9
and then
eggs.
one of my roommates and my
Way to go,
roommate's boyfriend,
Dorothy.
who is now her husband at the time. So
Was this recorded on an iPod, like an iPhone 2?
this was 2000 and what year is it now? 23. So this was 2013. So yeah, it's an old ass iPhone.
What was your pairing?
That was a killer bee to a normal.
Man, how are your odds?
Absolutely crushed it. Got pastels and everything. No big deal.
Nice. Yeah.
I got a couple of spider. I think I got 2 or 3 spiders out of it. I actually sold that whole clutch. I think I got $3,500 for the whole clutch, which
You
is
were on top of the world.
dude. I fucking thought I was a goddamn king.
Joe, do you remember what your very first clutch was?
Yeah, it was just a couple normals.
Normal.
Yep. It was
Case?
I made lemon blasts.
Yeah. Mine was I'm trying to think here. It was a albino het G-stripe to a double hat. And I remember hitting like one double visual, and I was on top of the world.
I mean, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Then I had to give them away because I couldn't sell them.
Market was dead already.
I was 50 instead. You know what's funny, man? So Joe might remember this. I'd go to the Des Moines, Iowa show. That's where I met Joe and Dag and those guys. And I sold leopard geckos for quite a few years, and then I bought a 1.2 of that project from Jim Stepflug, and I brought that clutch to the show, and I thought, oh man, I was on, like, I had this whole like, oh, I'm gonna sell every one of these. I'm gonna make some money. Like this is gonna be my life, blah blah. And I didn't sell a single snake, and I remember being extremely defeated. And yep. But luckily, I made good friends like Joseph and Dag, and at the time, and they were always encouraging and helped me along. And look at us now.
Look at us now.
Now we sleep. Yep. Now we sleep together at shows. We ride together in a van and down by the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good times. Yep. We share our lives.
Oh my God.
I don't mean like that. Get your minds out of the gutter. Like we just, I call Sheena, Joe calls Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Yeah. Bastards. He still pulls girls off eggs that way.
100%. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you didn't use a hook.
No, I wasn't afraid of being bitten.
Patrick just gives that vibe. He's the kind of guy that pulls like ball python females off eggs with a hook.
Yeah, you do. You kind of have. You still have that look about you.
Do I? Yeah, 100% not.
Yeah, you also look like you live in a box.
No, that's very fair. But you will never meet another person less afraid of being bit by a snake. It's a problem. It's a real problem. So yeah. Oh, Jacob, that's nice of you. Thanks, Jacob. I love you too. Oh, people are saying nice things about you now, Troy. I'm out.
They're trying to build me back up.
I was gonna say they feel bad after they roasted you for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Troy, did you pay for that Kinova shirt? Or did you steal it?
He definitely stole it. He definitely stole it.
I had to change shirts for a certain reason, and we're gonna leave the reason alone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you stop wearing slither
messages
shirts,
come across the top of my thing though that, like, I think Josh sent me a message like, "Hey, when are you buying into Kinova?" I'm sure they're all loving that. I'm at Chaise's wearing a Kinova shirt.
it's good.
So
That's true. I actually made him put it on. I was like, well, if you're staying at my house, you have to wear proper attire.
yeah, though Chase
As I have a
t-shirt. Yeah, he talked to Justin tonight, and I said, "Hey, tell Justin I said hello," and he went, legitimately. I should have said, "Well, tell him Joe said hi." And yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And he was like, well, tell my genuine friend.
My genuine friend Joe.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Did
Chase? Let's just ask this again to make the go for new people. Who do you think hates me more, Justin or Summer?
I mean, I think it's a tie.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think every once in a while? Do you think they just like bred together over the idea of?
You're only here in my house because I feel bad.
I know.
I think Summer hates you more. I think Summer hates you more.
So?
She actively edits you out of videos.
That's actually true.
You know what? She did edit you out of a video, which was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah. So I think that's actually the real situation here. But you know what? Maybe someday Justin will like you, and it'll be good, and you'll be happy again.
The world will be whole.
I forgot about that. I'm glad Patrick brought that core memory back that you were edited out of a video.
Yeah.
What I'm here for.
I have great memories about it.
Wow, no trauma.
Just a little.
Maybe someday you'll be a genuine friend.
And the bad thing is, like, in that video, he shouts out like 4 people, and then when he gets to my snake, it's nothing. Like,
What snake was it?
It was the special pied, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, because it was after we cut that clutch and we got that girl from you.
Yeah, and Summer was like, and I gave her shit about it. And she was like, "He talked about you like for too long, and I didn't like it, so I cut it out." And I was like, "Wow, okay."
Do you think she was a little bit embarrassed that they bought a special pied from you? Like,
probably.
Yeah.
The first one I sent him had a little bump on its back tail, and I didn't see it, and he had to call me out on it. I felt like a real piece of shit.
Whoa, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, she laid fine for me though, so Justin's just picky.
That's okay. He texted me last night telling me I mis-ID'd an animal on Morph Market, so it's fine.
Oh my God.
I know, it's good. It's good. I was like, well, it was in parentheses, which
Do you
means I
think
wasn't sure.
that's that pressure you guys got to feel every day with me, though? That
Yeah.
Do you think
like
he'll?
no mistakes.
Do you think Justin will be a guest on our show?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
What if we tell him Joe's going to be a co-host?
Well, then of course it's Joe.
It's not even a
Yeah.
question then. Yeah, Justin will come on. We'll have a good time with Justin. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
He'll get real tired of you and I real quick, but he'll stick around.
Our next week's guest is Will from RCR, which, he's my favorite Canadian.
There's not many good ones. So also, isn't Celine Dion a Canadian? She should, or Ryan Reynolds. They should be your favorite Canadians.
Oh, we can have a fat Ryan Reynolds on.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
If you guys don't know who fat Ryan Reynolds is, he's my good friend JD over at JD Construction. We refer to him as Fat Ryan Reynolds.
You know what? Now that you've said that, I can see it.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
I need to have a talk with JD. He needs a motivational speech because that man could fucking slay if he just dropped a couple of LBs.
Yeah. Oh, Jason's telling us, I'm not best dressed tonight. I'm sellout Troy.
That's true. That's true. I love it.
Yeah. Where are we at in our show stuff?
We ignored them completely once again. So we're doing good. I mean, the fact that Joe is still here is just a blatant ignoring of the show notes.
Chase is already Chase is trying to screen capture all these comments. So
I'm just loving the comments. Like everyone's just keeping me highly entertained all evening.
I'll just rub Chase's pussy down here.
Hold on. I get in trouble for saying fuck.
There's
earlier.
a black cat.
He's bugging my cat.
I
just feel like I'm
Oh,
constantly.
you can see my neck fat when I bend over. That's what
See.
At least proof now.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
This show went off the rails pretty quick. I mean, it didn't help that.
I thought we did okay.
No,
I judge it on whether I judge each show on whether or not Chase is going to get fired, and I think we're safe tonight.
Oh, Chase is not getting fired tonight for sure.
Absolutely
We said nice things about Justin.
Mm-hmm. True.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he can't get fired. The episode
Patrick,
he might.
if you had to trade collections between Justin, RCR Will, and Steve, your buddy Steve, whose collection would you take?
Can I ask a couple of caveats before I answer?
Sure. Way to use a big word.
Yeah, I try. It's that PhD coming into play. Do I have to keep every animal, or can I get the collection and sell off the stuff I don't want?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned you have a PhD. I have a GED, which are basically the same thing.
They're identical, actually.
So
they're both equally as useful. Oh, we're both breeding snakes. So
we're both breeding snakes. Yeah. Yes, you have to take the collection as a whole.
I would probably take Justin's. I think the answer would be Steve's if I could sell stuff off. Steve's collection, I think, is probably better, but there's a lot of excess on the bottom end that I wouldn't want to deal with.
I know. I know. I keep listening, and then I keep reading comments, and I'm just losing it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I'd probably take Justin's.
All
I
right.
think it's more stuff that I want versus Will has a great collection, but I think his is a different direction than I would go for sure.
If you had to set somebody's collection on fire between mine, I'm kidding.
Yes, yours.
Joe, it's mine. Yeah. Joe, I'm trying to bring the show back to a good spot. Joe, what's one piece of advice you'd like to finish this show out with tonight? Like, what would you want to tell people?
Yes.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah. Got to be nice to each other now after just ripping on each other.
I miss Blockbuster so much.
Right? Those were the good old days, man.
Dude, so great.
That's tough. Just be yeah, I can't come up with nothing now.
That's all right.
Troy,
I put you on the spot.
You should start giving people notice that they're gonna have to answer that question because this is the third time in a row we've gotten this. So
Yeah, well, I don't like to give people questions ahead of time because then I'm sorry, I'm looking at all your funds. See, I'm such ADD.
I can tell
Like,
you're
oh
you're
my
you're
God,
trying to
yeah,
wrap a podcast up, and instead you're like deep diving stuff in my
I
desk.
found this and now I want to play with it. Like, I don't. Anyways, God, I'm so stupid.
you're not stupid. You're just free spirited.
Off your medication.
I actually have not taken my medication in 2 days. That is true.
Okay.
And you're in my home.
And there's an axe right there.
Well, guys,
If Chaise doesn't make it through the night, by the way, get this.
Is this
I'm
a
not
cry
a
for
big
help?
fan of spiders. Like, I've got a lot better in my life. Like, when I was in my 30s, I still made my mom drive across town to kill spiders in my house. That's a
I
true
know where
story,
this is
by the way.
going. I'm so excited.
This motherfucker.
Yes, he does.
I come to his house and there's these giant spiders outside that have taken over like the entire state of Georgia. I was driving and I thought that's really weird that I can see the spider webs from the road doing like 80 miles an hour. Like that's a big ass spider web. And then I get to his house and it's covered. And to
What
get
about
in,
the,
you have to army crawl to get into his door.
What about the spiders inside his house?
Oh, they don't bother me.
yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't really mess with, he doesn't get them out. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Like I can go to a show. I used to not be able, it's like you put a spider next to me, I'd probably would just tore my stuff down and gone home. Now I'll go to like the booth and I like to ask questions because I'm curious about them.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan about walking outside and seeing these ginormous spiders that have taken up the entire walkway in a spider web. It's so gross.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
You're gonna have to work through that.
yeah. Hey, we have to ask somebody in the comments to come up with what our Chat GPT thing is going to be for the night.
Yeah, guys. All right. We need a topic and a situation, or maybe a person in a setting. Let's do that. Let's do a person in a setting.
I have a good feeling it's going to be me.
It's got to
I
be
was
No,
thinking it's gonna
it can't
you.
be. It can't be Troy this time.
no.
Yes.
It's got to be Fat Ryan Reynolds losing weight.
Oh, Fat Ryan Reynolds. And yeah, we need something to Fat Ryan Reynolds. I like it. Kanye at Burning Man. How about
No.
Fat Ryan Reynolds at Burning Man?
What kind of shenanigan is he going to get into though?
Chase, you're good at this.
I'm not the creative one.
That's a lie. I don't understand the question. Wait, that's because you're stupid, Andrew. He lost his hash pipe. I'm good with that. Fat Ryan Reynolds goes to Burning Man, loses his hash pipe.
About Fat Ryan Reynolds at Burning Man. Losing his what?
His hash pipe.
Okay. This isn't going to be a good one. I can already tell.
This is going to be great.
No.
No? I mean, the best one is about Lisa, because that's a true story.
All right. It's writing it right now. Give it a second.
All right.
All right. The title of today's story: The Great Hash Pipe Hunt. Fat Ryan Reynolds was not the Ryan Reynolds Hollywood knew. This was a much chubbier, carefree version, letting loose at Burning Man. Under the scorching sun, among the massive sculptures and eccentric attendees, he felt free from societal constraints. On the third day, as the wind played with the desert sands and people danced with colorful scarves, Ryan had a hidden realization. Oh no, where's my hash pipe? He thought, patting his voluminous pockets. It was his favorite, a gift from a wise-looking elderly man in Nepal. Distraught, he began his quest. Everywhere he looked, he saw laughing faces, spinning hula hoops, and aerial silks, but no hash pipe. Desperate, he climbed a makeshift tower, hoping for a bird's eye view. As he squinted in the sunlight, a familiar face approached. Looking for this? Asked a grinning Danny DeVito. Holding up Ryan's cherished hash pipe. Ryan's face lit up brighter than the Burning Man effigy. Danny, you lifesaver. The two chuckled, sharing the moment as the sun began to dip, casting a golden hue on the playa. Sometimes it's not the party or the place, but the friends you make along the way.
I really wish we'd have been Fat Ryan Reynolds at Burning Man loses detachable penis. We missed out on that.
We did.
We did. Yeah.
Do we want to try a redo? Are we going to go with one mulligan? No, we can't.
Oh, no, we can't.
No, this
No,
is it.
we just roll with it. We stick with it.
It's one and done.
It's one and done. Yep. Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is how we live and learn.
Mhm.
This is, yeah. We went slightly too serious. That's okay. We'll do better next time. The Troy raccoon was a great one last week, by the way,
Yeah, I'm not allowed at Kinova, by the way.
because of that story.
I don't rarely when I go there, to be honest, I don't even really look at the snakes because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy anything, so I'm broke, and two, like never gonna hatch what he's got. So like why even mess up my depression as bad as it already is? So I just usually hang out with Chaise. But I told Chaise, like, hey, I might come look at snakes or something tomorrow, and he said, no, I'm not allowed to come there.
Is that
I
true,
remember saying
Chase?
that. I
You
don't
did.
remember saying that because I'm pretty
what was
sure I
said.
just let him come over anytime. I'm like, hey, I've got to go over and work on pairings, and it's like 8:30 at night, and he's with me, just like, what do you think about this? As I'm going through and putting boys in.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, this is good.
What's weird is he can put like 30 boys in and he gets 29 locks. And if I put 30 boys in, I get 3.
Well, if you would stop putting hatchlings in, things would work out better. So
Such a dick.
I try. All right, guys. So this is episode 3. We've had better. But you know what? We've also
What?
had worse.
I thought this was great.
No, it was average at best for us.
Joe, I'm
brought his
sorry that
A-game.
he's offending you right now.
No,
Nothing like
Joe
saying,
brought his
hey, our
A-game.
guest was average, you dick.
Joe brought his A game. You showed up 15 minutes late, and then
I
Chase
was
didn't
1
even want to
minute
be
late.
here.
I'm pretty sure you were like 1 minute late. I came
10:01.
like
I was
5
at 10:01 and they left me in the background. The backstage just left me there.
Do I go ahead and say now I might have another baseball game next Thursday?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, go ahead
next
and say
week,
that.
I might show
yeah,
up super late again next Thursday,
yeah.
Okay.
but I'll be here.
That's good.
So basically, we're going to ask Will to stick on for a while, and me and Joe and JD are going to be in a van going, down the road together. So we'll see what actually
Wait,
happens next Thursday.
So we're getting Joe back-to-back weeks?
Possibly.
Is this our first back-to-back guest?
Well, it would be probably me, him, and JD in a van,
I'm back here.
which could be interesting.
Yeah. It's gonna
Yeah.
be good. No, this is gonna be
Well,
good.
that Chat GPT store is definitely writing itself already.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
stoked about that. I'm really excited about that. So, all right.
I'm curious, like the people left in the comments, since Patrick, the owner of our podcast here, thinks we're average. Do you agree or disagree?
On a scale of 1 to 10, please rate us.
Yeah, rate
You
us. We need a rating for tonight's episode.
Please
You have to
leave
be
it in the
honest.
YouTube comments if you watch this afterwards as well.
hmm
We need to know. I'd give it a solid 6.5.
Man, I actually was going to give it. What are you going to give it? I was going to say like 8.28.
That seems really specific.
Well, I
Joe- Joe carried this show and got us up to a 6.5. Okay, a 10. Get
Look,
the
we
fuck
got
outta
an
here,
8, a
Luke.
10, a 7, an 8.5.
Yeah, okay.
Huge.
You know what? You're right. There you
It's
go.
because they
7.
have to come in and roast you. For,
Yeah. How about you
an
just
hour.
take your chicken pox ass into the tub with some oatmeal, homie, and leave us be?
I need something. That's fair. All right. I'm gonna kill this before it keeps going any further. Guys,
Okay.
thank y'all for another episode of
Thank
Late to the
you, guys.
Mic.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Joe, hang out for a minute. We'll talk backstage.
Hold on real fast. Joe,
Yep.
how can people get a hold of you?
Through Troy.
I'm actually his agent.
Okay.
If you want a better deal, call me first.
Instagram, of course, Facebook, Morph Market, all the usuals.
Okay. Do you wanna let people know how to reach you on the Instagram, or are we just gonna hope for the best here?
Type in JSA Reptiles.
There we go.
It only says JSA underneath him, but it's fine.
Patrick,
maybe
you should
it's-
have not been here tonight.
Maybe it's JSA_reptiles.
Nope.
Maybe it's JSA just reptiles. Who knows? I'm just trying to let the man
Tonight,
advertise for
it's
himself.
just Troy. We're both Troy from Best Dressed Balls.
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. Joe, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Joe.
And,
Thanks,
dealing
Joe.
with us for an hour and a half. And everyone else, we'll see y'all next week as we get ready to go to the NARBC. Have a
Stoked.
great week.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.